All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. And the elect begins with the 144,000. YAHAWAH, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jehovah. BAHASHAM is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The Rakak without cheers, the Holy Spirit. I'm the brother I will lump you with the Jam at Chicago camp out here in Chicago. Come back at you, brothers and sisters of the household of faith of the Hopeful Right Select with another lesson. And Lord willing, I hope this lesson be edifying through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Once again, I hope this lesson is edifying. I'm just really entitled to this lesson, the famine of the word, because it's only a matter of time, man. Because even before what I'm about to bring out, it has been happening, man. Ultimately what? They've been striking brothers, YouTube pages down, striking brothers for medical misinformation, but ultimately everything, is gearing up for the famine of the word, man. I'm gonna jump straight into it, man, because ultimately Canada, just recently just passed the bill, regarding hate speech, man. And what we teach the 100% truth, starting with our elders and apostles on down, man. And what we teach is contrary to what this society promotes, man. We promote the truth of the Bible, man. We ultimately what? We say who the true people of the Lord are, man. We ultimately go by the ways of YAHAWASHI, what is right, what is wrong, man. And ultimately what? With us bringing out the truth, ultimately what? It's we're enemies to this man's society, man. Because everything we're bringing out, it ultimately what? It's against what this man promotes, man. This devil. But I'm gonna jump straight into it, and I'm gonna bring out that that bill. But this is the book of Amos 8 and verse 11. Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And ultimately, hey, this has been happening, here and there, man. Because ultimately, what? Brothers has been getting their pages struck down, man. Old videos, a lot of old videos that you try to find on the YouTube, you can't really find those said videos no more, man. That's bringing out, certain information, regarding the truth of these devils, man. A lot of those videos are being struck down, man. The highways and byways, ultimately what? We used to teach for hours, man, but ultimately what? The time has been decreasing. This is the sign that what? The Lord is ultimately pulling back his prophets, man, from off the highways and byways. And eventually the internet is about to go. So ultimately everything we're seeing right now is gearing up to what? The famine of the word, man. We're not going to be on the highways and byways too much longer telling telling our people to repent, man. Hey, because once, we're removed out the highways and byways, hey, what? The elect will be sealed, and ultimately what? Judgment will just rain down, man. But ultimately, this is what we're gearing up for, man, the famine of the word, man, because this is the last going round, as Elder Uriah always say, the last call for alcohol, man, spiritual alcohol, But it says, verse 12, it says, they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord and shall not find it. Right, wander from sea to sea, because ultimately what? When things go down, when we're not on the highways and byways, you're going to have our people looking for us, man. Hey, what was the name of the Lord again? Hey, what did you say about this prophecy? But we're not going to be, out there to answer these people's questions, man. Because it says in Isaiah 55 and 6, let's grab that real quick, and I'm going to get into that bill. Isaiah 55 and 6 says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. And ultimately what? The time to seek the Lord is right now, man. Because our people like to wait at the last minute when all hell breaks loose, man. But ultimately what? Hey, this is the final chance to really get right with YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, man. And ultimately what? To seek YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, you inquire of his prophets, man. The men that he set up, man. Starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, man. And others that's ultimately what? Teaching the same doctrine, man. Ultimately what? You see the prophets on the highways and byways teaching this word, man. Because it's going to be a matter of time before what? Ultimately what? YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI takes the prophets off the highways and byways, man. So the time to seek the Lord is right now, man. While we're ultimately still out there preaching this word, man, because it's going to come a time, it's going to come a day where we're not going to be out there, man. It's going to be so much hell in the streets, man. We're not going to be out there prophesying to you people, man. So the time to ultimately seek YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI is right now, man. But let's actually grab this real quick. And I just simply, typed in, what is Canada's Bill C9? And it ultimately said this is also known as the combating hate crime, combating hate act. Because like I mentioned before, we teach the truth of the Bible, man. We teach, what's written in the scriptures, man. And everything we teach, man, because we don't hold back no punches, man. We bring out everything, and it's ultimately what, it's against what this man promotes here in this society, man. And we promote the truth of what, who the true people of the Lord are, man. And we're ultimately exposing this devil on all levels, man. So ultimately what, he's using this bill to get us off the highways and the byways, man. From ultimately what, proclaiming, these words on the highways and byways, on the YouTube. So this is what, the beginning signs of what, the famine of the word, man. It says Canada's Bill C9, also known as the Combating Hate Act, is federal legislation that amends the criminal code to strengthen hate crime laws, criminalize intimidation around protected community spaces, and ban public displays of certain hate and terrorist and T symbols, man. And ultimately what do they call us, man? They call us Black Hebrew Israelites. So ultimately what, they're going to use these same talking points to ultimately what, to label us T's, man. To ultimately to come up against our talking points, calling us T's, man. So they're using these different laws to ultimately what, to get us off the highways and the byways, man. We're going to be criminalized for teaching the words of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, man. So what, they're going to ultimately what, remove us off the highways and the byways. So ultimately going to be of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Ultimately our YouTube channels is going to be eventually clipped, man. So ultimately everything that we're seeing right now, man, is our beloved Elder Malcolm say, man. What's, stopping this devil from ultimately what, fulfilling his new world order is what, the Bible and the Constitution, man. So ultimately what, man, he's going to use these said laws that he's put into effect, from stop us from teaching this word, man. And like I said, it's of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, It says protect community spaces, makes it a criminal offense to intimidate or intentionally obstruct people from accessing places where vulnerable communities gather, including places of worship, schools, daycares, community centers, and senior residents. It says ban hate symbols. It prohibits the willful public promotion of hatred by displaying specific symbols of terror and hate, such as those used by T entities, and they go into the different things as you can read. But the point being, that Esau Edom is ultimately, using these said laws to get us off the highways and the byways, man. And this is of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, that's making these big moves. That's making, putting in the mind of these devils to ultimately to make these moves, man. Ultimately he's going to put us at blame, man. So it's going to come a time and it's going to come a day, as I read in that Amos 8:11, the Lord is going to send a famine of the word, man. Hey, so get this word while you can. Hey, because ultimately what, we're living in a time where ultimately what, this is the last going around, man. For those of our people that didn't get this word, hey, they're going to be ass out of luck. But this is the book of 1 Samuel 3 and verse 1. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. All right, and this is coming back, man. We're not going to have any open vision for these people, man. We're not going to tell these people what's going on, because the time, when we was on the highways and byways, for those that ultimately didn't hearken or didn't listen to us, man, hey, they're going to be ass out of luck, man. Hey, may Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI be with you, but ultimately what, we're going to be removed off the highways and byways. Our YouTube channels is going to be clipped. As I mentioned, even older videos, it's hard to find older videos, man. Brothers, videos getting clipped for medical misinformation, man. I did I didn't really say much. I did a lesson, regarding Juneteenth, not too long ago, and they ultimately got me for a thumbnail, and ultimately, didn't give me a strike, but gave me a warning, just for that, man. Just for talking about, how hypocritical, this whole Juneteenth, that whole Juneteenth celebration was that our people celebrated. But just to give you an example, man, Esau Edom is, striking small, even smaller videos like that, man. So ultimately we're coming into a time where what, the Lord is ultimately just going to remove us off the highways and byways, and ultimately what, these YouTube channels, our YouTube channels, and these different platforms that we use, is going to be clipped, man, because it's going to be an internet outage, man. So ultimately these are the things that's coming down the pipeline, man. But let's grab this. This is the book of Ezekiel 7:25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none, because ultimately that's what our people ultimately see. Because what's that? 1 Thessalonians 5, it says when they shall see when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come up upon them as travail with the woman with child, and they shall not escape. So ultimately, what the mass majority of these people is ultimately what seeking peace, man. You know, and ultimately another thing, you know, we teach. You know, it says the scripture says, well, we mourning, lamentations, and woe, and ultimately that's a big threat to this man's society, man. You know. Even Jeremiah 28:8, you know, the prophets that was before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, a war of evil and a pestilence. You know, we're prophesying against Mount Seir, as I believe that's the book of Ezekiel talks about, man. You know, so we're a threat to this man's society, man. You know, we're not coming to teach peace, man. And ultimately, what? A lot of people hate us for it. Verse 26 says, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then they shall seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest and the counsel from the ancient. So ultimately, we're not going to have nothing to say to these people, you know, in the times that's to come, man. Hey, the Lord is going to shut our mouths, man. The Lord is going to hide us, you know, his elect men, you know, the ones that teach this word, man. The Lord is going to hide us from the said calamities, man. And we're not going to have nothing to say to you people, man. You know, because ultimately, as I read in Isaiah 55:6, hey, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, call ye upon him while he is near, man. So ultimately, to seek YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI is right now, while you're able to. But let's continue. This is the book of 2 Ezra 5 and verse 9. It says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, right? So ultimately, what the Lord is going to what, you know, ultimately there's not going to be any as I read in what's that, 1 Samuel, you know, there was no open vision, man. You know, the Lord is going to hide the wisdom from these people, man. The Lord is going to remove his prophets from the highways and byways, because there's already a lot of confusion that's going on in the planet Earth today, man. A lot of these people ain't gonna know what to believe or what to turn to, man. You know, as I read in that Amos 8, they shall wander from sea to sea, you know, to seek the words of the Lord and shall not find it, man. You know? So ultimately, they're not going to have a covering, man. And they're going to be taken by the said calamities that's to come. Everything that we have been preaching about, starting with our elders and apostles on down, hey, these said things are beginning to happen. And when the Lord removes us, these said people is going to be, you know, try to is going to try to find us, man. But they're not going to be able to find us, you know? It says, in understanding withdraw itself into its secret chambers, right? So the Lord is going to remove the knowledge, wisdom, understanding from off the streets, man. You know? And where can you find the knowledge, wisdom, understanding that, man? Hey, started with our elders and apostles on down, you know, week in, week out. You know, we teach on the YouTube that the different highways and byways in these different major cities, man. And the Lord is going to bring it back. The Lord is going to hide this wisdom from these people, man. You know? But let's actually grab one more and want to close out. You know, just a few points I wanted to make, you know. But this is the book of Ezekiel 3:26. And I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. Right? So ultimately in the times that's to come, we're not going to have nothing to say to these people, man. You know? Because what are our people known for? Our people are known for talking shit, you know, belittling the prophets. So ultimately what? The Lord is going to what? Pull back this word. We're not going to have nothing to say to our people. And these going to be the same niggas that's going to come looking for the word. But ultimately what? We're not going to have nothing to say to these people, man. You know? But ultimately, hey, we're here, man. Hey, the famine of the word, man. You know? Ultimately, hey, seek the Lord while he may be found, man. Call ye upon him while he is near, man. Hey, because the time is short. But something I wanted to get into real quick, you know, Lord, and I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to end up by giving all praise, honor, glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us this truth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom, and the Baba Ball. Until next time, Lord willing.